better work fast. Here's the break. So we finally just finished up. We are now covering the zinnia patch. And here it comes. Nathan, who was planting our corn, needed fertilizer, so we had to move the fertilizer cart. Dad's driving it. Well, he's driving the tractor, pulling the cart. I'm gonna meet him with the truck, and then we're gonna head back to planting. I didn't show up in my last video when it was pouring down rain. We actually had our fertilizer cart sitting out, and we talked to our neighbor, Bob Smith, who has a water company, and he let us park our fertilizer cart in his garage just because we didn't want to get it wet. If that fertilizer gets wet, it's no good. So really thankful for him. But now we got it back out of his garage. Like I said, we're taking it to Nathan, and then once Nathan's done today, we'll take it back home and put it inside where it'll sit then for a while. Yeah. So we just got up here to the cabbage field. We got to pull the plants before we can start. Like I said before, this is our smallest patch of cole crops. So this is it right here, besides a couple flats in the back of the Kubota.
The better ones are on the back of the truck.
I've never quite seen people working fields like this, but at crunch time.
Oh, there's crap. Wow, he said you had to eat breakfast.
You got Saturday shed.
Yeah.
Back here, maybe.
All right, it's not quite full, but it's foaming up.
Alright, so we just got Bravo on, then it's boom though, right?
Is this done? Oh no, you got another flat to go yet.
Alright, so these all set up good.
You better work fast.
They don't call you Speedy for nothing.
Thought he dropped one, I guess not. Maybe it was just a leaf that fell. So we finally just finished up. Definitely muddy, that's for sure, but they're in the ground, so now it can rain, and we don't need to worry about it. I think it starts over here with cabbage, Then moves into, I think, broccoli, then Brussels sprouts, then cauliflower, and then kohlrabi and collard greens. You can see all the mud out here. Dad was trying to clean the wheels off every time we came out. You can see it all caked up on there. These, I don't know how this operates, and maybe it's too worn down to work, but you're supposed to be able to, you know, turn that and clean the mud off. Clearly it's not working though. Before I headed home for the day, I wanted to come in and check out the tomatoes. These are just doing unbelievable, like nicest they've ever been, I think. Look at that cluster of tomatoes that hangs right there. And like these guys, I don't know what varieties they are. I'm sure there's tags in the beginning of the rows because that's what we always do, so we know. But like they're as big as the steaks. Sammy and I are gonna have to tie these two again, which I really didn't want to have to tie them again, but honestly, you can't complain. Look at the blossoms on them. They're honestly just doing better than ever. And I don't really know why, because I don't even think we have dripped them with any kind of fertilizer yet. Just watering them every single day. That's it. You gotta be careful with fertilizer because fertilizer isn't just always a cure-all. Like what'll happen if you fertilize too much is you'll get all plant and no tomatoes. Well, we not only have big, huge, beautiful tomatoes, we have lots of tomatoes, and the plants are doing beautiful. So like I said, just everything you could ask for, really. Now that everything's planted though, it's a good feeling. It still looks like it's gonna rain, but as far as the forecast goes, it doesn't look like it. So I am gonna water these peppers, I guess. We were trying to let them go because we didn't wanna overwater, but if it doesn't rain, they're gonna dry out and get wilty, and we can't have that either. So maybe I'll just water the edges because that's all I'm seeing is just a dry cell here and there. And as far as the next things to get planted, it'll be peppers, tomatoes, and hopefully these zinnias, they're gonna be going out to the farm market. These look awesome. They're just now to get into the size to where they're ready to go in the ground. Unfortunately, like I said before, I screwed up on the snapdragons. Didn't really remember that they took so long to grow. And so they're gonna be going in way later. They're ready to transplant now into the 1206s, but it'll then be 2-3 weeks after that until they're ready to get planted. But I can't wait. I gotta get these zinnias in. People are already asking at the farm market. And so we'll get them in and then worry about the snapdragons later. Sammy and I just got out here to the farm market. We are now covering the zinnia patch. This is a new fabric we got this year. It's supposed to be a better size to fit this patch. I think with 2 rolls, like down it, and then it unfolds, we can cover the entire thing. Because last year when we did this, we had to piece it together with extra plastic because it just wasn't quite right. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'll get my tool, we'll cut it, and then we'll do it again. We have it a little long down here, but it's not perfectly square. And when we unfold it, I don't want it to come up short. So I'm gonna leave it a little long purposely.
Look at
4-leaf clover. Well, it's not focusing there.
You see it?
Yeah. I think this unfolds, unless I'm wrong, like 3 or 4 times. There's no way this is the whole thing in one shot. I guess we're gonna find out here in a second. Move this out of the way. I think this will do the whole thing.
No way, pull it. You gotta pull it. No, pull that. Pull that. No, don't unfold it.
Why? Sammy,
Heavy.
grab the corner.
Well, it's keeping the weight down so it doesn't blow away.
It'll be fine. Grab this corner. Wow, I did not think this was going to do the whole patch with one swoop. That's actually crazy. Wow, I can't believe it did the whole thing in one swoop. That's crazy.
Why do we not do the greenhouses like this?
Where's that trailer at? Down the bottom or not?
back. Don't go yet.
And if you like Logan's t-shirt, we have a ton of them on the store, online.
Broyansfarm.com.
We also have hats and hoodies, crew necks.
Couple hats. Right now.
We have jarred goods, soda. Go check it out.
Basically anything you want, we have it. Oh, I'm kind of right down there.
Huh? Watch your fingers.
So we just finished up. Went really good. I think we will now forever, after this, use this fabric. It was just so nice having it all in one strip instead of piecing it together. Like half the amount of staples, half the work. And now it'll be even easier when I'm making my rows. Usually I have to lay out a string line, but these are pretty straight and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like it's just an outside zinnia patch. So I'll just follow these and make my rows. I think I do it like 36 inches apart, like 15 inches between each plant. And usually if they do good, they grow up so much that the people can't even walk between the rows anyway. My mom and dad are going away until tomorrow, just for the night, up to our cousin's cabin. So I'm on the farm alone right now. There's really nothing going on. It is supposed to rain. If any of you guys know what this issue is right here, not that you can really tell by looking at it, but we have this plant, this one is starting with it, and this guy down here. I don't know what it is. The tomatoes like are really nice on there, but it's the leaves. We don't see any kind of like insects or mites on there from what I have observed. If you have some kind of idea, that would be great. Just because we actually have that happen almost in the same exact plants in the same spot every single year. And we put stuff in the soil to try and kill that. And you know, we do the best practices that we know of, but it always seems to come about. And that's kind of the whole reason why there's a crop rotation. So you can move that plant or that variety or whatever it may be out of that area for a couple of years and hopefully it'll then die out. The plan was, and I don't know if it still is, for this high tunnel to be done within the next, I think, a year or two. That's been a high tunnel for years and years and years, since like before I was born or something around that time. And the soil's just worn out. We actually stopped, or my parents actually stopped growing stuff in there for years, and we grew like potted tomatoes and flowers in there. And then we turned it back into a high tunnel and it did great, but now here again, we're starting to have issues and I don't really see it getting much better. And that's why we're kind of afraid of the same thing happening for this upper high tunnel. You just can't plant the same thing year after year in the same spot. It's just not gonna happen. So we were thinking of something different to put in there, just to rotate. So I got everything closed up from what I could, and it's getting really dark. This is what it looks like. It looks like it's gonna come right for us. It's kind of cool on the camera how you can see like that clear line of clouds. Over here it's nice, and then over here it is not at all. Looks like over towards Berwick Way they're getting pounded. I don't mind rain, but when it gets really windy and the possibility of hail, that's bad. Wind will just kind of like mess up all the crops. Now, like as far as corn goes, that's probably the worst as far as handling wind, but everything's young, so it should stand right back up. But like all of our coal crops, if it lays them sideways, it's gonna get them all muddy and it's just not good. So we're gonna really hope this storm isn't as bad as what it sounds and looks like, because it's already starting to thunder. And here it comes. As long as it doesn't get any worse than this, we're okay. So it's the next day, just got down here to the farm. Very nice, calm, but yet muggy morning today. Looks cloudy, almost like rainy, but I don't think it's supposed to rain. I gotta look at the forecast again. I didn't actually look and see how much rain we got last night. Definitely not too much. It doesn't seem like squishy or, you know, like really cakey, which is good. We're not gonna do much today. I always say we try not to take on the world on Sundays, but on Monday, which is obviously tomorrow, we got to get more field work done. We're working on now getting our peppers in the ground. We got to lay plastic for our second planting of tomatoes, Come on, Dace. And Dad wants to get spraying done, mowing done, all that kind of stuff. Daisy and I are gonna start out feeding the cows. Willie's somewhere up there in the oats, probably chasing a bunny or something like that. It's so muggy out that like the concrete's sweating. Last night, just driving from one place to the next, you had to have your windshield wipers on just because of like the dew, or it wasn't even the dew, I don't know what you would call it. The air was just so thick that it was just like a mist on your windshield, even though it wasn't like raining or anything like that. Looks like we're gonna have to get some cat food, we're all out. There you go, kitty. I gave Daisy a bath last night, so she smells really good. She's very soft, instead of stinking like mucky pond water. So I'm trying to keep her close by so she doesn't go in the high weeds or go swimming again. If I can just keep her nice for one day. I gotta get some produce for Mom for the farm market. Probably the freshest way to keep cauliflower is this way right here after picking. Keep the leaves on it without trimming it. And that way they don't bruise each other, because everything packed in there is gonna make black marks all over the head. So that's kind of like a protective layer. And then carefully, I'll trim this off. And then you can see underneath here, it'll reveal that nice white, beautiful head on there. Just like that. And I know the lighting in here isn't great, but that's about as nice as a head of cauliflower will get. When I bought this bin, there was, I think, 45 heads or something close to that in there. And we're obviously just about gone. And then Dad or myself will probably go to the auction again on Tuesday, and we'll pick up more produce of whatever we need. So I went out to the market, dropped that stuff off. I want to try and get some broccoli because there's only like 5 or 10 heads of that left out there. And I know there's not much here on the farm, but there is some, and I think they need to come off before they get too mature. The broccoli's growing like crazy. This is like prime weather for it. I don't want to take them if they're too small. There's no reason to do that. This one actually looks like it's gone too far, which is a shame. That was one of the ones I actually remember. Here's another one. I mean, it's borderline. I think I'm gonna take it out. I would hate to see it go to waste. To be honest, the beads on these are getting a little big. I don't think they're gonna get much bigger. I don't know if it's a variety, I don't know if it was the weather or what, but they are pretty small. I didn't want to go in the store and record because there's quite a few people in there, but I got everything unloaded. Looks great. Should be a great day. And I'll probably show you in the next video, we should be planting those zinnias. The fabric that Sammy and I laid has now stretched like a banjo string, which is exactly what I wanted. One thing I would say about that fabric is if you're gonna lay it, give it a day after you put it down, let it stretch, do its thing, then put your plants in. You'll save yourself a lot of headache. Let's say you put those plants in the ground right after you lay the fabric, that fabric will then stretch and it'll sometimes rub up against the plants because you might have had your plants right in the middle of that hole that you cut there, but then once it stretches, it pulls it up against, and then if it gets windy, it's rubbing up against that plant all day, and it'll kill it. But with that being said, that's why I'm calling it a wrap for this video. As always, thank you guys for watching, and always remember it ain't much, but it's honest work.